What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. This is gonna be a video that's very different than the normal stuff on the channel. You guys had saw the video I posted a while back reacting to Dr. Slacking talking about how Draft League is dying, and the reaction to that was really, really good. And one of the most common reactions that I heard was that people really enjoy just listening to me rant. So I figured that what I'm going to do to vary some more content is to create more less structured videos. So instead of having the scripted lists, the videos where I'm super into the camera and talking about all this stuff and I'm super on the ball, I know exactly what I want to say, when I want to say it, I'm going to be more free flowing, talk about whatever's on my mind. And yeah, so that's kind of the plan here. This video in general, you guys see the title, is going to be talking about what is Draft League in general as a whole, what are my thoughts on the formats, and how does one get into Draft League, and what are the benefits of playing Draft League versus another type of game of Pokemon. I do have notes on my phone, again. I'm going to be using this a lot. Hello, Shadow. That's Misty. My bad. My cats are going to be making appearances because they love to be in this room, and they like to kind of jump on my lap while I'm editing or talking or whatever. So that's going to happen. Be prepared. But this is going to be interesting. I have a couple points I want to bring up about Draft League in general, about Pokemon in general, and hopefully you guys can comment down below and we can start a discussion. And if you guys have other suggestions for type of things I'm going to be talking about, or things that you would like to hear me talk about, let me know as well. I'm not going to be super hype and animated because, number one, I'm not really a hype and animated type of person in my regular life. I'm a very methodical, what's the word I'm looking for? A very methodical, logical, and just honestly quiet person in my day-to-day life. I work in banking, and it kind of allows me to, it forces me to think critically a lot and really try to focus on what can I do to help X person, Y person. And because of that, that kind of leads into Pokemon just a little bit, or Pokemon leads into that a little bit, considering that banking is what I actually do. That should be my primary thing. They're trying to get into there's a closet like over there. They're trying to get into it. I've started this has been like 2.5 minutes. I haven't spoken a thing about Pokemon, so I'm just going to jump into it. But the point I want to make about the banking and like what I do, it really focuses to show that if you're uploading content and doing this, then there's a persona that you have. That persona is not necessarily who you really are as a person. I'm lucky enough that I have some friends that I can just be real myself with and just be relaxed and low key like I usually am. So hopefully, you guys or you girls or whoever of you who are going to be watching this video will understand why I like this format so much and why I think this community is such a great community. So let's just jump into it. Oh yeah, I have very structured stuff on the channel, so let me know if you guys want to see that. There'll be like there's stuff in the cards for sure, and just check it out. It's fun stuff. Anyways, so this is gonna be the first time we're talking about this, and we're gonna be talking about Pokemon Draft League. What is Pokemon Draft League? Well, number one, it's a way to play competitive Pokemon. Competitive Pokemon, not fun, wacky, stupid, just competitive, trying to win, okay, trying to be better than you were the day before. And maybe some people think that's like a toxic behavior, like you want to try and do better and win and whatnot. It's like, I mean, to each their own. Personally, I like to get better at everything I do. It's not because it's competition, not because I'm a competitive person, maybe a little bit, but it's because I enjoy getting better at things. I enjoy seeing my progression from point A to point B to point C and so on. Where I was playing this game, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, compared to where I am now, it's night and day. It really is. And the size of the community, we have fewer people who are, let's say, uploading Draft League at like high levels, but we have so many more people playing the game. And that's what it's all about. We are people who are playing the game, who are enjoying the format. And that is the main focus. My webcam's like kind of jacked up. I don't know why it's so far that way. Let's move this a bit here. That should be a bit better. Yeah, more centered. All right. Anyways, competitive way to play Pokemon. And there are a few different ways you can play, a few different ways to play Pokemon in general. There are like Let's Players, there are people who shiny hunt, there are people who play Smogon, BGC, and there are people who play Draft League. And we're like the smallest of the communities, but we're really tight-knit, okay? And there's a lot of really awesome people in the community. Just like there are in every community. Of course, every community doesn't have the best people at certain places, but they're going to have the good and the bad. That just comes along with the territory. Now, Smogon is one of the most popular ways to play competitive Pokemon. It's a laddering system. So essentially, Smogon is a group of people, a council that have created a metagame where they have OU, overused Pokemon, UU, underused Pokemon, RU, just down the list goes. And the better the Pokemon is, the higher the tier it is. And they go based off of usage. So if a Pokemon is used very often, it will be in the overused tier. And if it's unhealthy for the metagame, it'll be in the Ubers tier, for example. It's really interesting way to play. The problem with it, and the reason why I'm not the biggest fan of it, is because you're basically playing a way where you try and counter. You build a team of 6 to counter an entire metagame, everything, and that's very hard to do. It is really, really hard to do because there's going to be games where it's not going to come down to skill. It's going to come down to, okay, my opponent has this one Pokemon which I have no answer to on my team of 6. VGC is kind of similar. You're building a team, and then it's instead of being 1v1 or whatever, 6v6, it's 2v2. You bring 4 Pokemon, 2 of them at a time, and then you're basically building strategies that are benefiting 2 versus 2. Girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? She's distracting the hell out of me. As I was saying, 2v2 with draft with VGC rather is an interesting way to play. It's just not for me, and it is the official sanctioned way to play Pokemon according to Game Freak. And a lot of people love it. It's a huge following, arguably more popular than regular Smogon. I think actually it is more popular, but still, not my cup of tea. And the reason for that is because once you have this team of Pokemon, you're basically counter-teaming the entire metagame. Draft League, on the other hand, is different, where you get to have your team of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Pokemon, whatever it is, and then you use those 12 Pokemon for a predetermined period of time, usually 8 to, let's say, 12 weeks. Most leagues are going around like 9 weeks now and cutting off there because it does like drag on a little bit after playoffs. And when you use those Pokemon, your opponents also have a group of Pokemon that they have. And then you use your Pokemon to counter their Pokemon and vice versa. They use theirs to counter yours. So you know exactly what you're prepping for. It allows you to be more creative with your sets and allows you to, I guess, see what you can do in terms of building and what strengths and weaknesses you have when it comes to that. In general, I feel like when you play with Draft League, you're able to really draft a team of, again, 8 to 12 Pokemon that can kind of handle any given situation. And that's your focus. You're trying to build a team that can do anything and beat anything at any point in time and protect against some really big threats. Obviously, you're going to have the scary mons that you have to deal with, but I do feel like if you're building a team of 8 to 12 Pokemon, you can kind of create a matchup against those Pokemon that really is going to be bad normally in, let's say, 6v6 or singles or doubles, and kind of turn that on its head when you're playing in Draft League because you have all this group of Pokemon. You have the counter-teaming ability. I think it's really, really important. There are multiple ways to play. And one of the ways to play is on Showdown. Another way to play is on Wi-Fi. Those are the 2 ways that are most common. I don't think there's any real other option, honestly. But Wi-Fi, most people upload Wi-Fi leagues. That's just how it's done, because if you have the Wi-Fi capability to play on that, you usually will have the other device needed to be able to get this up. Not everyone does, but it is really common. And then there's Showdown. Showdown is a simulator in a way. It's a free simulator for people who want to play Pokemon. It's how, honestly, if you're getting into competitive Pokemon in general, you probably want to be looking at Pokemon Showdown. So just type in Pokemon Showdown on your favorite search browser or whatever, and you'll be able to find it and just give it a shot and see what you can do with it. And that's how you can start building Pokemon and practicing competitive plays. But how do you actually join the community and join Draft League? I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. It's on my list. The point I want to make with this is that there are ways to play Showdown versus Wi-Fi, but also level 100 versus level 50. If you want to have a bit more of a bulky game, to me, it just feels bulkier, feels longer playing at level 100, play level 100. If you want to have something that feels a bit more fast-paced, play at level 50. Just the stats aren't as large, so it's not going to do as much damage, and it doesn't feel like everything's taking a million damage from every single hit that's happening. But it's just like, it tricks your mind in a way. But either way, I digress with that. It's not something super big. The other way is we talk about how we're going to play is it going to be National Dex or Galar Dex? Or is it going to be Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is like terrible? Honestly, okay, I'm being kind of rude about that, but Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl has a very limited metagame. It's only Pokemon from Gen 1 to 4, And on top of that, the timer situation is really bad. It's only 20 minutes. That really, really hurts. It makes it tough to play a game fully in that amount of time because you're just focusing 100%. I got to make sure I click my moves fast or else I'm going to lose the time and this and that. And that's true. In Galar Dex, which is Wi-Fi, we have access to the land timer, which is a chess timer. And that's a really useful tool to be able to play an entire game and you're not penalized. Sorry, let's try this again. You are not penalized because your opponent plays slowly. Your opponent is penalized because they play slowly. So if my timer runs out and goes down to 0, I lose the game even though I may have more Pokemon or might be just about to win. So that's kind of what you have to think about there. National Dex puts all the Pokemon all together in one game and allows you to play that way. Issue with that is it's not available on Wi-Fi unless you're playing a previous generation because for some reason in Sword and Shield there are only 500 Pokemon available, maybe 600 Pokemon available compared to the 900 plus that there are in the game. You're missing some. You're missing a lot. There are different ways to play Draft League as well, and Draft. Some of you might be familiar with the UCL, which was run by Shady Penguin and Numb Nexus was in it. Who else was in it? JYT Gamer when he went by that name. They were in this. Game Boy Luke, all these people, they were in this. And they had a way to draft that was different from the way everyone else was drafting at the time. At the time, when that league came out, everyone was doing a draft in tiers. Every Pokemon would be assigned a certain tier, typically between tier 1 and tier 5. And the better the Pokemon was, the higher they would be in the tiers. So for example, a Pokemon like, let's say, I don't know, Mew. Mew would be tier 1. A Pokemon like, I don't know, Snorunt would be tier 5 because Mew is obviously up here and Snorunt is all the way down there. And because of that, people would be drafting very similar things and they would be given artificial values of these Pokemon. And then we kind of shifted to another way to play, which is points. What the UCL did was they said, okay, there is Smogon. Smogon has OU, UU, RU, NU, PU, all these things. You have to draft 3 Pokemon from OU, 3 from UU, 3 from RU, 3 from NU. And Pokemon that are good in Smogon, they may not be as good as they are in Draft League. Here's an example. Dracovish. Dracovish is an Ubers in Smogon, and it's banned from the normal competitive metagame. But in Draft League, it's probably one of the more mid-tier Pokemon. It's a really good mid-tier Pokemon. You have to prep around it. But because of the prevalence of Dracovish in the OU metagame when it was still around, a lot of people were running Gastrodon, Seismitoad, Pokemon like that, Quagsire even. Pokemon that just had a really good water immunity who can then recover up or get at rocks or just be an annoying Pokemon all around, have only one weakness really. And that's a really good way to deal with the Dracovish. The issue is, in general, in Draft League at least, they're not that good. They're fine, but they're just not amazing. Okay, Pokemon like Swampert are better, even though they share the same typing. But they just don't have the water immunity. So in Smogon, it makes it worse, but in Draft League, it makes it better because it can do other things. It has more variety to it. You're not just always going to be running the same defensive set. You can be offensive. You can be support. You have access to status moves that can really inflict pain on your opponent's team. So that's one of the benefits of that. And that's why people don't use UCL tiers. Don't use Smogon tiers for drafting. I mentioned before, so we have tier draft, we have UCL draft, we have points drafts. So instead of doing tiers where you're given everything a tier from 1 to 5, and then you have to draft around that, we give Pokemon points. So the most expensive Pokemon are going to see maybe 18 points, 19 points, 17 points, something like that. And you're going to see your Dragapults, your Zeraoras there, you're going to see your Urshifu Single Strikes, your Mews, Tornadus, something like that. And then at the very low end, you're going to see your Snoms. I don't know. That's the second ice type I mentioned that starts with S-N-O. Anyways, the better the Pokemon, the higher the tier. And this allows you to be more creative when it comes to building or drafting, because instead of going with a Pokemon, let's use Heatran for example. Heatran is a good Pokemon. Is it one of the 20 best Pokemon in the Draft League format? No, but in a standard tier draft, it might be in tier 1, which is not great because it's the same value as a Pokemon like Dragapult is, which is clearly better than Heatran. Even though Heatran can do quite a lot, Dragapult is still one of the best Pokemon, if not the best Pokemon in the entire format. Speaking of which, there's a video that I have on that format, the 10 best, which is going to be up there, so check it out. Pluggy plug. And that's why points is better. Points allows you to be more creative, allow you to have more flexibility when picking Pokemon, If you want to have a fighting type, but you only have 7 points left, and you want to get another grass type, you can get a 6-point fighting type and a 1-point grass type, as an example. The other option is free drafts. Free drafts just say, pick whatever the hell you want. We don't care. And those are so chaotic. They're fun, but they're so chaotic. I did one or two in my entire life, and it's a lot. Like, it's just like throw everything out the window and just go for it. And it could be really interesting, but you can also end up some teams that are absolutely disgustingly broken. And it makes it really hard to win if you want to try something new or different. My favorite way to play is with points, followed by tiers, and then I'd say free, and then all the way at the end would be UCL. But honestly, there's a pretty big jump between tiers and free. The most popular, as well as points. That's the most popular in general right now, but tiers do definitely pop up every now and again. Leagues also have different batting systems. Pokemon that are available in one league but not the other. There's mainly, I think it's like 6 or 7 different types. There is Ubers, which you're going to see in the BBL, which I help run with Liv and with Owen, OG Albina. And that league is focused on Ubers, allowing stuff like Solgaleo, Marshadow, Xerneas, really broken Pokemon you wouldn't see normally in competitive play. And you're kind of stacked up against the other stuff from standard draft leagues. And they're fun. It's really fun. There's so much testing around it. It's fantastic. There is S tier, which would be kind of like the ICBA or like the UPBA in this coming season. And that's where you have one team, each team gets like one really good Pokemon, like a near Uber Pokemon. And then after that, they have like a tier that's higher. They're just a lot more expensive than a standard Pokemon would be. And that's what they're used for. And you get a really good Pokemon like Pheromosa or Speed Boost Blaziken or Landorus Incarnate with Sheer Force or whatever. They're just a step above the standard Pokemon you're going to see. There is standard leagues. We're looking at things like the NCP or the CGT, which are around to just be, again, best Pokemon you're going to see are probably going to be Urshifu, Mew, and Dragapult. And you kind of know what's going to happen in the first like 5 to 6 picks of the draft. It's fun. I love it. It's my preferred way to play, but it does get old if that's all you play. You got to be able to switch up every once in a while. There's mid-tier. Mid-tier would be kind of like the APA, where like the best Pokemon is around like the 10 to 11 point tier. Like Gardevoir was one of the best Pokemon in that. Gardevoir, which would be like around one of the, I don't know, not even top 50 in a regular standard draft, is the best Pokemon in mid-tier. Yeah. Then there's something like low tier. Low tier is like a really low tier. Like the best Pokemon is like a Mudsdale. Okay? Or like Articuno. These are Pokemon that are really, really inexpensive normally, and it forces you to use Pokemon that aren't fully evolved just to try new things. And that'd be kind of like the UBL. The UBL offseason at least. And there's Little Cup, LC. Little Cup is fun. It's play at level 5. And because of that, it makes it tough to play really competitively because the damage rolls are so crazy. If you don't know, Pokemon has damage rolls where it goes from like let's say a Pokemon move can do 10 points of damage all the way up to like 18 points of damage. That's not a good example, but like 10 points of damage up to like 15 points of damage. And there's like 1 out of 16 chances it does 10, 1 out of 16 chances it does 15, and then in the middle there's 14 chances it can do anywhere between 11 and 14. And that can kind of throw everything into the wind because you can prepare as much as you want, but if you have a really weird damage roll, it can just end your game. And it makes it really tough to be super competitive and consistent in Little Cup, in my opinion, of course. All these tiers are fun. I've played all of them at least once, and my favorite is standard, then it's going to be followed by full-on Ubers, and then be followed, I think, by like mid-tier, and then I'd say it's going to be S-tier, then low tier, and then LC. I used to like LC, but it's not for me anymore. But I definitely would recommend if you're interested in trying some very new Pokemon, some baby Pokemon, trying some really interesting strategies like Endure Berry Juice, all these things to kind of get extra focus sashes and whatever, or sturdies. It's just a lot of cool stuff. One of my favorite reasons why I love this format, why do I like this format? It's because of the creativity. In my work, in my line of work as a financial advisor, I help people plan for retirement. I help people plan for all the big things in life, mortgages, serious adult stuff like, as I'm talking about a children's game that we play with virtual monsters that are just massive dragons and whatnots, and I don't know, whatever like Clefairy is. Anyways, and it allows me to like be creative. And in my work, I'm creative as well with what I can recommend to people and how we can kind of find something that's going to be best and tailor-made for them. And think of it this way. I'm tailor-making a team for myself to use against an opponent who is tailor-making a team for them to use against me. And it's like psychological in a way because, oh, my opponent knows I love to bring an Ockaberry on my Vikavolt. So they might prepare a rock move instead of a fire move on the Vikavolt answer. Which is fine. It's cool because you can have that creativity and it's nice. And I have to be like, okay, he knows I like that. So I'm going to bring this item instead. You prepare with different things. You can be creative. And that's just obviously a very very small thing. Okay. But creativity is really important. And that also comes with counter teaming. Counter teaming exactly what your opponent could bring. So, for example, I know that my fastest Pokemon is a Dragapult. My opponent's fastest Pokemon is an Alolan Persian. Dragapult is 142 base speed. Alolan Persian is 115 base speed. Do I need to run max speed Timid Nature on my Dragapult? No, I don't. I can reduce it all the way down to the point where I'll outspeed the Alolan Persian by 1 point. Because that 1 point still means I outspeed it. Even if I outspeed by 1 versus 20 or 25 points, I'm still outspeeding it, no matter what. Unless it's a Choice Scarf or whatever, or Webs, or something like that. Or a Speed Boost set. It doesn't matter. If you guys want a guide on how to do speed creeping, how to be able to find out exactly what you need, I have a video on that as well. It'll be linked in the description too. Again, it's a very structured video, so if you're interested, make sure to check it out. There is also how to prep around bulk, and I have in general, there's a lot of different ways to do that, and it's a very complicated thing. And if you're brand new to Draft League, maybe it's not for you, but just get comfortable playing the game. Seeing as something that you just enjoy. And if you do, fantastic, and then move on to creeping with bulk and getting started with that, because it can show you there's a whole other side, whole other level that you can get to with your play, and you're going to see it's going to make you a lot better. But again, I have a video on that too. Creativity I was mentioning before. Let's use a Pokemon that I've been using a good bit recently lately. That sentence didn't make sense. Let's use a Pokemon. Let's talk about a Pokemon that I have been using a good bit in the past little while. And that's Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt is insanely powerful offensively. And it has like very little special attack. I think it's like 55 special attack or 40 special attack. One of the Pokemon that resists its dual stabs, being Water and Dark, which are boosted by its adaptability, are something like Tapu Bulu. Are you ever going to run Sludge Wave Crawdaunt in VGC? Probably not. How about in singles in Smogon? Probably not. I ran Sludge Wave Crawdaunt in Draft League as I smacked my mic. Stop moving. I ran Sludge Wave Crawdaunt in a Draft League game to deal with the Tapu Bulu. And it kind of worked. Honestly, it worked. It got that thing down to like 5%. In general, I prepared for that Pokemon to come in and be the check to this Pokemon. And I got it right. And I went for the Sludge Wave and I massively chipped it down. You're not going to see that anywhere else. Okay. What else aren't you going to see anywhere else? Well, you may not see a sub-focus punch Seismitoad on the ladder, but you can see it in Draft League, which is, something. It's seeing a Pokemon like that, just do that, which Seismitoad is mostly like defensive or like a Swift Swim Sweeper. Be sub-focus punch. Kind of cool. Kind of cool, not going to lie. Other than that, though, one of the reasons why I like this so much, why I like this game so much, is because of the sense of community. Okay, like we're going to talk about people who are just our friends. We speak to on a daily basis. Okay, I'm going to quickly shout out a couple of people. Obviously, there's a lot more people that I could be mentioning, but Liv and Josh have been there for me since like day one. Okay, Tone, Incog, Granky have been super helpful the past at least year and a half, 2 years plus. Aquarius, I've been speaking to a lot more lately. Okay, there are so many more people. Okay, and if I didn't mention you, I'm sorry. I apologize, but there are so many people that I communicate with either on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, just about whatever, about the game, about something we have in common. It's a friendship, okay? Or an acquaintanceship, or whatever you want to call it. It's something. And it's definitely a sense of community. And that's, in my eyes, the most important thing about this. So if you want to join a community, Pokemon players, so people who like competitive Pokemon, and if you like competitive Pokemon, you should join a Draft League. If you play Smogon, if you play singles, OU as your only thing you do, give Draft League a try. I'm very confident you're going to like it, especially if you're a competitive person. Okay, if you're good at the game, if you're even new to the game, try it out. Join a Showdown Draft League or a Wi-Fi Draft League if you can, and just play and see what happens. And if you enjoy it, awesome. If you're like not a fan, you're not a fan. It is what it is. Okay, you're not going to love everything, but I think people kind of knock this system, this format before they even try it. And that's kind of the problem here. So I'm urging you guys to give it a try. with the sense of community. With the sense of community, what do we mean by that? So one of the things that is very, very useful and very helpful when you're playing a game, because obviously every week you're going to be using a different team, and you can't just go on the Showdown ladder to just practice with that team. You can't do it, okay? Because you're not going to face off against the exact team that your opponent could bring. That's where mocking comes in. Now, what is mocking? Mocking is the art of taking someone's team, the existing roster that they have, and then building for a friend so that they can have practice. So, for example, if I have a team of, let's use my APA team for example, Zerora, Darmanthan Galar, Necrozma, Togekiss, Swampert, Arcanine, Cobalion, Roserade, and Alolan Persian, and I'm going up against another team which has, let's say, Tapu Koko, Mamoswine, Corviknight, blah, 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 etc. My opponent would build with my friend would build my opponent's team. So that way I can practice against it and see what I can do better in the build, if I need to change a move, a team, an item, or whatever, or if I can find a certain situation where I should do something or should not do another thing. That's what mocking does. That's the value of mocking. There's also just building discussions. Just talking about a build with a friend is super, super helpful. Okay? And yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I have a huge front office of people who've been willing to give me some of their time to be able to help me out, and they honestly have been amazing. Okay? Their links are like in the description of all my videos because of the amount of help they provide me from week to week. And a lot of my content wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for them. Okay? It wouldn't be as polished if it wasn't for them. My play wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for them. Every community has its problems though. So here are just like some of the problems with both Wi-Fi and Showdown, and I want to make sure you're aware of this before you get into it, okay? Because it is important. Wi-Fi has a pretty big barrier to entry, okay? You need to have, number one, a Switch, which is expensive. It's like 300 plus bucks American, I believe. You need to have an Elgato if you're going to be uploading, which again is another like 100 bucks American. And then you're going to notice that the same people are going to be in pretty much every league. It's a lot. Okay, because you never really get a chance to play against new people. It's rare to see new people because the barrier to entry is so big. And that's why one of the discussions that I had last time, it kind of came up. How do we lower the barrier to entry to allow people to join? And one of the things that I had suggested was we can have people who are going to record for, let's say, 2 or 3 people in the league who don't have access to a Switch. And they will be in call, and the person who's playing the game will be taking instructions from the person who is actually the owner of the team. And that way they can play the game. I think it'd be really interesting. As for Showdown, that sounded really weird. Like just coming out of my mouth, it sounded weird. As for Showdown, I find that the talent level is higher. The better players are on Showdown, but the average skill level is less than on Wi-Fi. Okay, because we have people who are really new, and the barrier to entry on Wi-Fi is a lot higher, so people really want to get in. They really put a lot more focus on it, in my opinion, than the average person on Showdown does. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that. My apologies, but it's just an opinion from what I've seen. Yeah, but the higher skill level is a thing, so be aware of that. It may also take you a while to get into the like the good leagues. Okay, the leagues that are like really, really popular, really strong, full of the competitive and best players. But nothing stops you from just getting into a league with some friends and just having fun. Playing games once a week helps you get away from the normal life that you're living, and then just move on to something else and just do something that's going to be fun and enjoyable for even just an hour a week. Yeah. Anyways, I've been rambling for a long time. I'm going to see if there's anything else I want to talk about. No, not necessarily. I do think I do want to mention actually that you guys should comment below what is your favorite part about Draft League. Okay, for those of you who actually play the format, I can't imagine this video is going to get tons of views. It's not really the point of it. It's just to kind of like talk and put out something that I kind of wanted to just like talk about. But yeah, so let me know what your favorite mode of Draft League is. Also, let me know what you guys want me to talk about next. Do you just want me to talk about, I don't know, why the sky is purple? Why the sky is blue? What is wrong with me? Jeez. And also, yeah, comment if you have questions on what Draft League is about. If you don't know, if you're still unsure about something, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer down in the comments below, or someone else would, as I'm just going to keep leaning back a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, just let me know, and I will be more than happy to answer those questions and so will people who are watching answer you in the comments. Leave a like if you want to help the channel grow. If you want to push the content out, if you like the video, comment the number 7, and that's gonna be very helpful because engagement is good. And I like the number 7. It's my favorite number. But yeah, 30 minutes of talking. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you next time.